Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Justin. I am your host. Next album, please. Today we have World's Not Gray. How's it going, man?
It's going well. How's it going with you?
It's going. It's bright and early. Today is Monday. I'll be releasing a podcast later on today. Um, yeah, it's been a crazy weekend. So, uh, without wasting any time, man, what started this? Like, what when did you start making music?
Oh man, I started making music when I was 10 years old. I started uh, just messing around on the guitar and fell in love with it.
Nice, nice.
And when you're young, you just kind of uh, you take in stuff a lot faster
Hmm.
than anybody else would. So my love for it just was like, I gotta figure out how every song works, and I think it just worked to my advantage, that curiosity or whatever. So been doing it ever since.
Definitely, and like you said, if you start out young, your mind's like a sponge. You soak everything in. So all that
Yeah.
music that and what were you listening to at 10?
Oh my goodness. Because I'm in Barbados, it
Mm.
was just such a mixed bag of things. Like most, it's like the dominant genre here is like calypso, uh, reggae,
Hmm.
stuff like that. And then whatever my parents were listening to, Motown, uh, adult contemporary pop music, whatever you want to call it, disco.
Yeah,
And then, uh, it was very difficult to get rock music and stuff here. So that would have been around the 90s, 1998, 97 maybe. And so you would get a few 90s alternative rock songs trickle down onto the radio station and stuff like that. So I heard distortion. I was like, oh, what's that sound? And I fell in love with it from then. So I just, I try to get as many tapes and stuff as possible to
nice. Is
listen.
it still hard? I mean, nowadays it's probably a lot easier than the '90s, definitely. But is it still? Do you think that the metal scene is still not quite there yet, or do you think it's flourishing now?
It's still non-existent.
Yeah.
It's still limited to just a few songs.
Hmm.
I don't want to get into too much about that, but it's
Yeah.
just a cultural thing. And you can't really get mad at it. I
Yeah.
used to
No.
get
Yeah.
mad at
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
it. You can't really get mad at it. So
Yeah. There's parts of the United States, where either a rap is the primary thing. Before we started the podcast, he did let me know he had a chicken, so
yeah,
that's what you guys just
that,
heard.
that's chickpea.
What's the chicken's name?
Chickpea.
Chickpea. That's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome. So, like I said, though, certain areas, it's just how it goes. So what is the meaning behind World's Not Gray? That was like your music really intrigued me, and I think what really popped off because I thought it was a full band.
Right.
And when I found out it was, I was like, wow. So where did World's Not Gray come from?
World's Not Grey comes from my name. My name is Jahan, and it means of the world, or God is gracious.
Nice.
Right. So I yes, chickpea, we know. There's people around 2018, I just kind of got the idea to actually use my name for a solo project. So it was really just going to be me and a guitar doing covers like that. And I just started looking at it and started searching. I went on this insane search as to what does my name really mean. Found out all kinds of things that I never expected, and ended up thinking, all right, so there's nothing in life that is really black or white.
Hmm.
And nothing's any fixed color either. So
Yeah.
I just titled it, "World's Not Gray." There's so many different perspectives to every single thing. It's like, all right, so of the world's not gray, and it's stuck. Hey, Chickpea, I'm busy. He's protesting. You know
Yeah, he
that? He's
is.
like,
He's
hey,
protesting.
what?
He's like, get off that
He's like,
video chat.
I'm trying to tell you something, man.
Yeah, you know what though? That's awesome that the name comes from that, and that story is
Yeah,
really enlightened, and it tells the music community. It tells them that it's more than just a band. It's a meaning, So that's awesome. That's awesome. What do you
yeah.
what do you think inspired you to start this project?
I just wanted to do something different because at the time I had given up on playing in rock and metal bands for a little bit because I wanted to do something different. So I started playing southern rock country, and I saw that as an opportunity to, branch out, learn something new, expose myself to some level of growth that I had. And I just got tired of that too after a while, and I was like, it's time to make a return to the thing that's really authentic to me. So I just felt very driven. Sometimes you just feel drawn to something. You have that internal drive that says, "Hey, do this," and if you're smart enough, you'll follow it.
Yeah.
It's just nudging at me, and I felt like, okay, this is something that I really shouldn't ignore any further, and I ended up doing it. So I just started writing a couple demos and stuff, and been doing it ever since. I just kind of got sucked into it.
Yeah. Definitely. And that's the beauty about me being a multi like genre musician is you get drawn in every direction. It's it's absolutely crazy how you can go this way, go your direction is towards metal, and then all of a sudden, like right here, the corner of your eye, okay, now I want to go this way a little bit because I want to experience that, and that's the beauty of music itself. It's multi-genre driven, so your head is basically spinning, and you want to go in all these different directions. So but that's good though because it gives you experience and a different take on music itself. So um for people that haven't listened, to people watching and people listening on Spotify and stuff, describe your music. If they've never heard of you, like, describe your music.
um, that's a good question. Honestly, you put me on the spot with that one. I don't know how to describe it. I feel like trying to fit everything that I have to say into one category is too limiting, but I would say it's conscious rock.
Conscious
You know what I'm
rock,
saying?
I like that.
Conscious rock, because when I started the project, I figured, okay, all of these bands are out here doing this thing. They have their message, they have their audience, and they know who they're speaking to. I'm speaking to people who are looking to be, not looking to, but people who are open to discussion about the relationships that they have with people, their experience of life, how we're evolving as a society, the fact that there's things that are obviously unexplained that happen behind the scenes that we
Mm.
don't know about, emotions. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
All these
definitely.
heavy topics that it's not anything that's unique. It's not anything that's not being discussed already. I'm just trying to do it slightly differently because of my background in mental health,
Hmm.
the CBT kind of therapeutic counseling
Yeah, definitely.
industry, things like that. And I realized over the years that people, they listen to music because they want to feel something and they want to be connected. But
Yes.
more than anything else, they want to be connected to the artist.
Hmm.
And it, I've realized that a lot of people romanticize or they see their favorite artist as their friend inside their head, and they feel like it as though it's a person that they could talk to, they could open up to, because they feel like this person gets me because of what's in the content of their songs.
Yes,
So
definitely.
I saw that and I figured, you know what, it's going to be conscious, um, because people just want to be opened up and they want to connect with you and they want to know, are we really the same? I am having this problem in my life. Have you ever experienced that? They want to know what your songs mean. It'd be friggin' awesome
Yeah.
if you could just like call up Taylor Swift and talk to her. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
no, it
Like,
would. Yes, it really would.
so I just wanted to give people that experience, and I wanted to build a community around the music so that everybody can come together and share their experiences.
That
Vice versa.
that's like a really interesting that you bring up everything that you just did too, because it's like the whole basis of building this that I've built is to get the people to know the artist a little bit more, because you guys are definitely more than just the music. And I think a lot of people gets lost in translation. There's a reason why you write lyrics the way you do, which I want to get into, because you are seriously probably one of the best lyricists out there. And no, you really are. Like, I had a chance to listen to your music again this morning, and I was, listening to it when I was, waking up, listening to it, getting ready for the podcast and stuff. And it's like, I listen to the music beforehand. I've listened to your music quite often, and I don't know, maybe I just wasn't listening to the lyrics itself. Maybe I'll just focus more on the music part, because I felt like your music is the type of music where you find something every time you listen to it. Because this morning I
Wow.
realized, I was like, wow, his lyrics have a lot to do. Like, your lyrics, not a lot to do with mental health, but it has to do with things that are relevant. And
Right.
and it I don't know. It spoke to me, basically. And like, one of my favorite tracks, and I know I wrote this. I have like a pre-list of what I want to talk about and stuff on here, but I'm gonna skip ahead right here, and I want to talk about which one was it? Oh, where is it? I know I saw it. Oh, Visceral.
Visceral.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Visceral's was like is and was my favorite track, and I knew there was a reason for it, and the lyrics are really good. But um, when you talk about mental health is very it ranges, from so many different things. I've spoke about this on my podcast before, because music is probably the ultimate medication for mental health. And I feel, whether or not you medicate yourself, whether or not you're medicated by a doctor or anything like that, it all comes down to, if you take your time and listen to music, it can help out a lot. And you definitely speak to your audience, and that's important, because people need to know who you are, and they can figure out who you are through your lyrics, because I feel that it's true. I feel that everything's written for a reason. You can definitely tell when bands write stuff or artists write stuff, and it's just kind of written to be written. So
Yeah. So
you definitely can tell that yours is very real and raw, very raw. So I highly suggest anybody's watching or listening to check his music out, because it's good. It is definitely good. What's your speaking of your music, like, what is your creative process like? How do you go about creating these tracks that you have?
oh, my creative process is just odd. Um,
Those are the
Actually,
best.
I've tried to open myself up and allow people into that space. So I've kind of made myself a crazy rule where I write a brand new song every Friday night on Instagram Live,
Okay.
11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I, it always starts with a drum beat in my head. It's very rare that a song will come from a guitar riff. So a song of mine that came from a guitar riff is like Unconditional, which is definitely the softest song, more gentle song. And I just really can't say that there's another song that came from just the guitar. Uh, yeah, that's about it. Just that one song. Everything else originates with the drums, and so I basically get a feeling, and I'll just be sitting here, and just tapping on my desk or whatever, tapping on my legs, my knees, and the beauty of having everything on the computer is I can just go on and I can drop that on there, and I just ask myself, okay, what is this? What is this beat really gonna be about? Like, what am I gonna say over this beat?
Yeah.
And it's not something that comes automatically, but because I know song structures and stuff like that, I'll hear it and I'll be like, okay, well, that's gonna be the chorus. So how am I gonna get from the beginning to this part? And then I just kind of work backwards. So I put it on the computer and let it play a few times. And if you come on and watch me, you'll be like, what the hell is this guy doing? Just making drum noises at this point. And then the next thing I do is I ask myself the basic questions. What's the verse? What's the chorus? Is there a bridge? Is there a solo? And inherently, you have that feeling.
Yeah.
In your heart, I want to say it's not a mental thing. You have that feeling. You just kind of know. When you know that you know.
Yeah. Well, the drum beat itself is a heartbeat, So yeah.
It applies to that. So while I'm doing that, then ideas just start to develop inside my head. Guitar riffs, lyrics, and I just kind of go, yeah, all right. So then the next thing I do is I put down a bass and I'm playing it on my keyboard. So I'm just messing with it, and I start with the bass actually to find the chord progression. And once I find the chord progression, that's pretty much it. And I don't want to make it sound like it's that easy
Yeah,
for
no, it's
anybody else
definitely hard.
that may try to copy that process and then get pissed off at me, like, what are you talking about, man? But it's because I do it often, and so my brain knows, okay, when he does this, send him information about this. So then I just, I have that process all refined after doing it for so long. And that's it. Drums, chord progression on the bass. And I feel like the bass and the drums are the most important part of the song because that's the rhythm section right there.
Yep.
And that's the timing and that's the tempo right there. So if you can define a good feel from that, then you're good to go. Then you
Definitely.
and then you can fill in the blanks around that. Sometimes I get a little keyboard part or something, or a guitar part may come and I'll just go lay that in, and then I won't have anything else. But it's kind of built.
Yeah, and you definitely want that center. You want to start with the center definitely, and work your way out because it makes the song feel more full, more like a song basically.
And like it something I try to make sure is that you can move to every song.
Mm-hmm.
So starting with the drums and the bass helps me lock that in early.
Yeah.
Because I guess the saying is, if the drums don't bang, the track don't bang.
Yeah,
so
true.
It's helpful in that way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about Chicky. He's not usually this noisy.
No, you're fine. Don't even worry about it. You're good. So you, I want to what's the word for this? I want to go back a little bit and talk about your Instagram live. That's definitely important. After this podcast, guys, if you guys are a first-time listener or anything like that for World's Not Grey, go check out his live feed. I was wondering, you had a pattern where you were going live, and I was noticing that. I was like, he goes live at least minimum once a week. And I'm like,
100 times a week.
yeah, I know. You go live, more that because you're super interactive, which is important for a band. It's important. I am guilty because this week I have definitely been slacking off on the social media scene. I've been a little absent, but it's very important for an artist to interact with his fans and or her fans or their fans, and it's you seem very interactive with your people, and it inspires me almost, because it's like, damn, this dude is like literally taking time out of his day, which you're already making music, so as an artist you're already taking time out of your day, but you're taking more time out of your day to be interactive, and it's pretty dang cool. If you guys are into people that are super interactive on social media, definitely follow, because yeah, what made you get to that point where you were like, you know what, I need to be more interactive with my fans and stuff?
I really started going live a lot. Um, September
Mm-hmm.
of 2020, and that was when I first made the decision to just include everyone in every step of the way.
Uh-huh.
So the reason why you see me going on live all the time is because I'm just working on the song in little
Nice.
bits and pieces, and I'm also trying to show people that it's not hard to
Mm-hmm.
create a song. It's really not. Just get out of your own way and just give yourself the freedom to put a little something here, a little something there, and it'll come together.
Yeah.
It'll come together faster than you know it. This notion that it takes 3 months to write a hit song, or there's a set formula, you write a hit song in 3 days. That's not it.
Yeah.
It's just pure creativity, chill, relax, talk to your fans and stuff. So I wanted to do that. I wanted to show people, because the best way to get anyone to understand anything is to demonstrate. Less talking, more doing.
Yes.
And so I realized that there's an opening for that, and that people, like I said before, they want to be a part of the community.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna take a chance. So I went and I got this ring light thing here, and I started doing it because everybody's at home, everybody's bored, and they're trying to make sense of everything going on in their lives and all this crazy shit we're doing.
Yeah, definitely.
So I wanted to be there, and that's my motivation really. Just wanted to be there.
No, that was, and it works out for you too, because I don't think I've ever met another artist besides people that are on Twitch that you know like show every process of their music making or anything, basically. And you are bringing everybody on, for the ride, basically, and it's an experience that not a lot of people give, and it's unique, and it's definitely worth taking time out of a fan's perspective, like a day, and checking it out, because it is interesting. I've had a couple times where I've been able to get on, when you're live and stuff, and I think like the most it's just real. That's all it is, basically. If you guys are looking for a real artist, this is the person right here. Definitely check out his Instagram lives. Are you ever going to plan on going, maybe Twitch and stuff like that, or are you just going to stick with Instagram?
For now, I'm gonna stick with Instagram because it's where a lot of people are,
Yeah.
and I have not spent time trying to figure out what Twitch even is.
Yeah.
Like how do I get on there? Can I do both things at the same time? I don't know. So
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it. So once I figure that out, perhaps there's always a possibility.
Yeah, definitely.
But for now, Instagram Live is gonna
I think
be the
Instagram
constant.
is where it's at, basically. You're in a good spot right now. Instagram is at its peak. I don't even think it's at its peak yet. Instagram is probably the best place to be for social media, unless you're doing like TikToks and stuff like that, because then obviously that's the best place, because everybody's just flipping through those videos like crazy. So
Yeah.
we talked a little bit about your creative process and stuff in your music. Now, I kind of said a little something about this in the beginning, but I want to talk about your lyrical process. As a musician, the lyrics are probably one of the hardest things to do, because people that actually listen to music and listen to every aspect of it, they're gonna pick up on if the lyrics are bad or not. And your lyrics in every single track I've heard, none of them are bad. Like super good lyrics. Uh, where did you learn to write like that?
Um, First of all, thank you,
No
because
problem.
I don't really think of things that way.
Hmm.
I just kind of have learned to get out of my own way, and then I'll say whatever it is I have to say. But I learned that because I spent some time studying the way they do it in Nashville. Those guys really have it down to science,
Yeah.
and you realize that like a good country artists, let's say Brantley Gilbert, for example,
Hmm.
excuse me, or Jason Aldean, those two pretty popular country artists or country rock artists.
Yeah, definitely.
Once they get a song that's a hit, they will reuse the content of that song. They've got a whole team of people that are paying attention to what works and what doesn't work.
Hmm.
So as I came up writing songs more and more for World's Not Grey, my interest really started to get peaked. I started looking at what are these guys doing, and then I started looking at all the heavy metal, hard rock, those guys. What are these guys doing? What have they been doing historically that they continue to keep getting at the top of the charts?
Yeah.
And it's really just been their delivery. Sometimes even the lyrics are inherently bad when you look at them on paper, but in the context of the music, it's fire.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
definitely,
saying?
definitely. Yeah.
So you just kind of are able to use your discernment, and you can only get better by practicing writing a lot,
Yeah.
because then you learn what parts of the lyrical content reflect you and your experience of life, and then you kind of know that whatever is true for you is going to be true for at least 10,000 people.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I just discovered that, and I kept to that. I just keep refining, and what words are relevant, what topics are relevant, um, what are the problems, because the Instagram live again is very helpful, and that's helped fine tune the way I write songs, because the people that come through tell me things about their life.
Yeah.
And so I really did discover that that thing about everybody's you just reflected back to you.
Yep.
Like that's so true, because people tell me things that's like, holy shit, I've been through that.
Yeah.
So now I have more fuel for the fire. I can write more things, and so that's it's not a complex process. It's just being the observer and
Yeah.
trying to understand yourself and other people and write it down.
No,
Get out your own
definitely.
thing.
Yeah.
And I don't judge anything when I write it either. I'll scribble.
Hmm.
Sometimes I'll scribble forever and then I'll just cut back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely you create more than what the song is, and then you kind of like trim the fat basically, and then you
Yeah.
you 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 fine tune this beautiful track until it's absolutely perfect in your mind, because I
Yeah.
I I don't care even if you're Beethoven. There's always going to be somebody out there that goes, this music's not good. So it doesn't matter who you are, as long as you are in love with your track. That's what really matters, because it comes through the music, and for your fans and people that are coming into your music, they can hear that. If you're not happy, they can also hear that, and it translates very
I think
vividly.
I think whether you're a lyricist or an instrumentalist, being people oriented
Yes.
is going to get you further than anything else. Because when I was younger and 20s and stuff like that, I was real arrogant ass, and
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I thought everything was all about me, and the usual progression of things that teens and 20-year-olds go through. I didn't give a rip about anything or anybody.
Same.
I thought I was immortal,
Same.
right? And everybody goes through that phase, and you have to go through that phase so you can find out the truth that's on the other side of that, and
Yeah.
that helps. The more honest you are, the more helpful that actually is to your creative process, because then you don't have any other excess bullshit going through your head that's blocking all the things you really want to say.
Exactly.
So as I came to know myself, I started to focus on what I could do for other people. And that's what really lent to my musicianship. That's what really started to feed into my musicianship. And I saw it grow. And so my passion for becoming better as a human is what grew the music, not practicing or anything like that. I found as I discovered myself more, my ability to just play and comprehend and piece things together
Yep.
grew.
That's the beauty of kind of taking it back a little bit. Uh, as myself, I'm part of the, and I've said this before, I'm part of the mental health community. And I feel like we all are, but it just takes acceptance. Like, not a lot of people can accept that. But that's the beauty of mental health is you learn how to be a human being. You learn. No amount of school, no amount of parenting, nothing like that can ever really teach you how to be a person, how to be a human being. You have to learn on yourself, and uh, it's one hell of a hard journey, but you do. And then once you learn, like you did yourself, you learn to, and if you're a musician, you learn to write better. You learn to pay attention to the little details that matter, that a lot of people don't think matter, and engagement is huge, and I think that gets lost in translation a lot. So wow, that's awesome that you've gone through this journey. And because when I look at you, and I know you're not supposed to ever judge anybody or anything like that, and this isn't judging or anything, but when I look at you, I see a younger guy. How old are you?
Yeah, I'm 33.
See, you're 2 years older than me, and I look like I'm 50. But no, you know what it is, man. It's good though that you've gone through like things in your life, because, and I tell people this all the time. People are like, "Oh, I feel sorry for that person." It's like, no, don't feel sorry for them, because guess what? As long as they find themselves at the end of the day, they're gonna look back on their journey and go, "Thank you." Thank you, because I
Yeah,
don't know what I was going to be if I didn't go through all that stuff.
not to get too spiritual on you, but there's one thing that we all miss frequently, and it's like it has a reset button on it in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
It's that you don't know the outcome of someone's journey. You don't know where their path is taking them.
Yep.
It's not for you to say uh, that the person is never going to change. It's not for you to say that the person's going down a destructive path or whatever the case
Yeah.
is. It may look like hell in a handbasket.
Definitely.
However, that's based on the person's choices.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't help anyone who doesn't want to be helped. You can only help those that are receptive. I wouldn't use the word open, because you come to find out in mental health industry that open and receptive are two different
Two
words.
different words, definitely.
Someone may be open to what you're saying, but they're not going to take it.
Yeah.
Receptive basically means whatever you tell them, it goes in, it expands their awareness, and it comes back out at some later time, even though they may not know they're growing. They just kind of do it.
Yeah, definitely.
And so you learn these things as you're paying attention, as you're growing yourself, as you're applying things. Like, you learn all this stuff, and then it becomes much easier to get along with other people, because you realize that some of the darker stuff that they're going through, they're choosing it, and they need that to get to where they're going. So
yeah. And if you take it, for a music standpoint, it helps create these stories that we write as musicians as well. It helps us, and whether it's about ourselves or what we perceive another person to be like or anything like that, it definitely helps create that. So going through, this is for anybody watching or anybody listening, if you're going through something, and the best thing that you can do is reach out basically. Don't keep it in, because if you keep it in, you're obviously, what's the definition of insanity is, continuous repeating of the same bullshit that you're doing, basically.
Do the same thing
So
over and over,
yeah,
expecting a different
exactly.
result.
So if you're heavy into music, reach out to some of these artists, because that's the one thing is, when growing this project, I never even imagined I would be able to talk with somebody that has 4,000 subscriber or followers on Instagram, like yourself, or even people that, like, my podcast that's coming out today is with a band that I found a while back. I've been in love with this band forever, and they agreed to come on the podcast, and it for me, it helps me out for my mental health and stuff like that. This right here is what I love to do. I love talking with people, and that's the thing is, if you guys are going through something, talk to these artists, because 9 times out of 10, what's crazy is these guys talk back. I never expected that. Growing this, I never. I mean, don't bombard them, please, guys. Don't like send 2,000 messages, because I don't suggest that. But it your musical journey, though, man, it's definitely been a a direction, but has it been a deliberate direction, or has it evolved since you started this project?
I started this project September of 2019, finally, after going around in circles trying to figure out what am I going to do
Yeah.
for a year. And since then, more and more things have happened that just kind of confirm that this is the right thing
Mm-hmm.
to be doing at this point in time. And so it's just kind of blown up, as you can see, like 4,000 followers just
Definitely.
came. It just grew, and I'm not doing anything particularly special. I'm just
Well,
leaving myself open to talk to people, and it seems as though it grows.
yeah, and you just released. Uh, pronounce that EP for me. Is it cervix?
Oh, it's called Crooks.
Cruise. See, I thought cervix, and I was like, I don't
No,
think that's right.
CRVX.
Yeah.
That'd be really fucking weird if it was. But
I
anyways,
was gonna ask you about it. I was like, where did that name come from? But
and
I
it,
mean,
it
you
okay.
you you're absolutely right about this blowing up, because I mean, you just released this EP, and you have well over 1,000 plays for a
Oh wow,
small.
I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, on Spotify, I'm looking right now. You released this January 6th, and you already have over 1,000 plays. That's incredible. Like,
That's crazy.
for a smaller artist, this is absolutely insane. So no, you're definitely right. It's blowing up.
Yeah. So to answer your question, where does Crooks come from? I actually took it from this statue in France,
Hmm.
and it's called the Cross of Henday. And so that's what's on the album cover. If you go look it up on Google, you'll see it.
Oh, okay.
And it's one of those things that's veiled in mystery,
Hmm.
and it's been there since forever. And people have been trying to interpret what does it mean, and what it's actually, the inscriptions on it and the statue itself. It's outside of the church, first of all, so just for the listener to understand a bit. Um, it's rooted in Gnosticism,
Hmm.
and so whoever made that statue, they were basically predicting the times that we live in right now.
Mm.
To keep it in layman's terms, the times that we're living in right now. And so on the actual cross of itself, I have it in front of me, has O Crux Salvis Pezunica, which means Hail, O Cross, the only hope. So I took the crux part out from the center,
Hmm.
because it was another one of those things that was like, when you just kind of know.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to write an album, I'm going to call it that. And that's how that album got started. So I'm just gonna let whoever's interested go and look it up. But that was the original inspiration for it, and I thought it was very interesting that I came across this thing because I watching the news or whatever ungodly reason,
Yeah.
and I seen all these different things are going on, and it's like, wow, this is very interesting. And I'm not very much into conspiracy theory stuff. I'm more into how the heck is it that these civilizations from times before knew that this nonsense was going to happen,
Yeah.
and
That's crazy.
yet somehow we still allow
Yeah.
it. So if you're paying attention to the content of the songs, then you'll understand that I'm not just talking about things that are going on inside of me. I'm not just talking about my perspective. I'm kind of bridging the gap between what happens inside of all of us and what's actually going on in the outside world. And so the Cross Pende kind of tied it all together because in that mystery, in that story, it represents everything that's happening right now. Whole, arguably, people will argue with me about it. We're experiencing a rebirth, and it's
Yeah.
the kind that happens every 100 years or so. Some
Yeah.
kind of breakdown has to happen so we can rebuild and get better. So that's where that all comes from. I'm not going to talk too much about it.
No, no, you're good. No, it's
Yeah,
actually really interesting to know these things too because it's like you need to know what the inspiration or drive of an album is, and that's a point blank right there. I mean, you definitely solved, especially because I butchered the name. Uh, I was like wondering to myself like I don't know, maybe because I mean I've seen some weird names out there for band names and stuff like that. So now that you cleared it up, for my
yeah.
my
Well,
take on it, it's like,
it,
damn, that's really deep. Like
yeah,
it
it should be something that we all inherently know, but we just kind of skim over it by
yeah.
accident. And it's that back in those days, language was very limited,
Hmm.
and so they didn't have the letter U.
Yeah,
They
everything was
had
like a
to
V
just
or
everything was like a V or an S. So
yeah,
everything, repeating letters. So you see certain things like X, S, V, and they were like, what is that? Like they didn't even have Y. They didn't have that as a vowel.
yeah.
So they used the V. So if it throws people off, then good.
Right, it works in your favor because
Yeah.
no, it brings mystery and it brings something different and it makes the listener go, okay, what does that mean? Like now I got to do more investigation of why it means that way. So they're spending more time on your work, and that's the whole goal for artists is to get someone to pay attention to their work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
uh, your music has an early 2000s vibe, but with I don't know, like a modern rock like twist. Are you inspired by like that era, like the Viva La Bam days? Like are you inspired by that? Cause no, you know what that reminds me. Like if
Wow.
I could honestly see one of your tracks on one of those uh like what are they called, like where it's just various artists. I can't, the words escaping me right now, but it's I could see you on a track list like that, like your music has that vibe to it.
Yeah. Instantly, as soon as you said that, I could see the image of Bam pissing off his dad in my head.
Yeah.
A young me in front of MTV watching this nonsense on TV. Yeah. Um, I grew up on that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I, going back to my story about not having access to that kind of music. Back in those days, people who are too young to know what a cassette tape is, we had these things, and you would hear your favorite song on the radio, so you would go grab your blank cassette tape, or if it was you grab whatever you had, you stuck it in there as fast as you could, you hit record, and
Yep.
you recorded that song, and then you would play that tape until it burst.
Yep.
Rewind it with your little pencil, and then play it again. You had your little patch things. So that's how often and you would listen to a song, and that's how much appreciation you had for the music. Because when you could get it, you killed it.
Yeah, definitely.
You memorized every intimate corner of that song, and so that's the era I was in. And I guess I got the internet at some point, and then there was Napster, and everybody was pirating songs, and
Yep.
the majority of stuff. The majority of stuff that really emerged on Napster was either like rap songs, like Dr. Dre and that kind of thing, Eminem, or it was stuff like Korn
Yeah.
and early Hybrid Theory before Linkin Park was even really big, and you had access to these things because they were leaking.
Yeah.
And so, in my heart, I just have a very special place for all that music. So bands like Adema and Earshot and
Oof.
Tool and Korn, Alice in Chains, Seven Dust, Linkin Park, Drowning Pool. Those bands are
You're
where I
speaking my
really
language, man.
right. A
It's
perfect circle, Cold. I mean, I tell people all the time I had three dads when I was growing up, and none of them were biological. It was Lane Staley, Jerry Cantrell, and Scooter Ward from Cold.
yep.
Those are my three dads, and so I listened to their music nonstop. Stained, I had a Stained T-shirt. You couldn't get me out of the damn thing.
Yeah,
And
the that time, that's when music really, I think, because we were at our most rebellious, I guess, in the music scene.
yeah,
And you'll never get more rebellious than the early 90s
yeah,
to 2000s. It's incredible what, you know,
yeah,
the internet business has not only opened up for artists to make things better for musicians and stuff, it has, but it also has taken away the fact. I want to definitely talk about that cassette thing. When I say he is absolutely 10,000% correct about running and grabbing a tape, you guys have no idea. If you were not born in that era, you have no idea how difficult it was to save your music. Because, I mean, I come from, a background where if I asked for like a rock CD, my mom was pissed. She's like, no,
yeah.
no, no, you're not listening
No,
to that. And yeah, it's not Rod Stewart. I'm like, what? Like, I mean,
that's
don't
the
get me
devil's
wrong.
music.
Exactly. So I'd have to sneak a tape in and try to, listen to metal that way, or rock and stuff like that. But
You
the
know,
struggles are hard back then, to get good music.
you, do you know those stories where like there's a car accident and this mom summons the strength of all the gods and just lifts the vehicle off of the
Yep.
child? Like, you don't know that kind of intensity until you're in that situation, or you're running to get a cassette tape to get your favorite song. You don't know
Exactly.
that.
Exactly. Or if you're or if you're taping over MTV when MTV was actually about music, it's like you
Yeah,
have all these bands coming on. You've said a lot of you threw a lot of names out there. I hope people are still listening to these bands because they are amazing. Whether or not, the quote unquote they sold out or anything like that, I really don't care. It's they, back in when they were in their prime, that music spoke to people like you and I.
there's no
And
such thing as selling out, man. Sorry to
yeah,
cut you off. There's no
no,
such
no, no,
thing
you're
as
good. Yeah, you know what, you're right. You're really right. There really is no such thing as that, and I've grown to learn that because just because they changed, anybody changes their style of music to fit a better demographic doesn't mean that they're selling out. It just means that they're they're business savvy.
yeah. I see it.
you
I
know?
see an opportunity to just bring a bit of perspective for those who don't quite understand.
Yeah.
You know, the sellout concept is a very egocentric concept. Not to piss anybody off.
No, no, you're
If you really ask yourself, where is that idea coming from? We live in a world that it's all imperfect. There's no set path for anything, and
yep.
an intelligent, like you said, business savvy and aware and music centered artist knows that you have to grow and go somewhere. And if you're not doing something that's different, you're still going to lose fans
Yeah.
because they don't want to hear the exact same thing over and over and over and over again.
Yep.
They want to know who you are today in
Yeah.
this moment. Is this person still like me today? Where have they gone? Are they going to lead me somewhere from where I'm at? So a good artist knows that you have to take your song somewhere. You
Yeah.
can return home. It's kind of like a tennis match. You got to get back to center to hit the ball, or you lose.
Yeah. Definitely.
But you still got to get out of that comfort zone, hit some strange shots, and then return home. And there has to be that balance between uh, that movement when you write your music. So the concept of selling out is just crazy because another thing that people don't take into consideration when you say this is that music always reflects the global culture,
Mm-hmm.
the events. So how are you going to be a sellout if you're writing about what's happening right now? If it's still current lyrically, still current in terms of the instruments and the sounds of the time. Listen to the 80s.
Yeah.
The 80s sounds like the 80s.
Yep.
The
Definitely.
70s sounds like the 70s, every song. And so 2020 music sounds like 2020.
Mm-hmm. And I think you know
So
what it is nobody likes repetition, but nobody likes change. And
true.
you cannot, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. It's a concept that I still can't wrap my brain around. Is how can you not like repetition, but you also can't stand change? It doesn't make sense. Those two things cannot exist in the same realm. So it's it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think what you did is you did it. You put it in a perspective that you shouldn't be able to piss anybody off with that, because it's you broke it down. And I don't think
Yeah.
very many people break it down. The way you broke it down is definitely not how I would have broke it down. Now I know new knowledge about this, and it's like, okay, I want to break it down like how you did, because that's way better. Like
Right.
it's true. It has to do with the times. It has to do with current events. It has to do with a massive amount of things on why people change their sound. And I honestly do believe, yes, money is a factor. But I mean, if I was a pure metal musician, I only played stuff, I only screamed, no singing, nothing like that. But they offered me, a group of people offered me an X amount of money. That's a lot of money, and said, you got to sing on this next album. I'm gonna do it because I'm gonna put food on my table. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Basically,
well, money
it's
is the great enabler.
it
So if
is.
somebody offers you money to do something that is your dream and that inspires you and allows you to reach out to other people, you're going to do it. You're going
Yeah,
to take that
exactly.
money because it's allowing you to reach more people. No
Yep.
matter how you want to look at it. Yeah, there's some shady shit that goes on. Yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
We know that. But
Yeah.
we also know that there's good people out there making music and they're making millions of dollars off of it because they care,
Yeah. Definitely.
right?
Yeah.
So,
And that's the thing. It's the yin and the yang. It's always,
yep,
like you said, not everything is black and white. But when it
yep.
comes to, you know, good and bad, you see, you have your chicken. I got my cat right here. He's wanting me to pay attention to him, but it's there is a black and white when it comes to certain minimalistic things, like whether like good or evil, basically, kind of thing. But
Yeah.
it's, I don't know. It's hard to explain, man. It's hard to wrap your brain around, all that stuff. And I think you said it
Yeah.
perfectly about, the word sellout. It is egotistical. It is kind of just irrelevant for like a big reason. And yeah, I just think it's because people love to hate.
Yeah, they
That's
just like whatever they don't. I was gonna say whatever they don't understand, but it's more like whatever they don't want to take. time to understand
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
Eliminate that word from your vocabulary. Hate is an unnecessary. You can
Yeah.
say I strongly dislike something, or you can say I don't understand it.
Yeah.
But just deciding outright that you hate something just off the bat, it's just ridiculous. Come on,
Yeah.
we're
Because
all better than this.
why invest that much energy into something that doesn't outright affect
Yeah,
you, in the
but
long run.
that's the way this shit's set up.
Basically. Basically.
Polarity consciousness, they call it.
Yeah.
One spectrum to the next: bad, good, black, white,
Yep.
upside down, inside out.
Yep. Yeah, and it really is. It really is. So when and I don't mean to cut you off or anything, but I'm just looking at my time as well. I have a couple more questions for you before I let you go. Are you planning? You've performed live before, correct?
Oh yeah, I've been performing live since I was 14, and the World's Not Grey thing, and with everything going on, has given me a much needed break from that, because I reached a point where my vocals were just exhausted.
Yeah.
Screaming all the time, singing loudly all the time, performing got exhausting,
Mm-hmm.
and I really needed that. So I can tell where you're going, so I'll let you ask the question.
Well, is World's Not Grey going to perform?
I am going to put together some performances for Instagram Live,
Perfect. Okay.
and I feel like the best way to do it though is to do a pre-recorded performance.
Yep.
So, do a good set for people and then upload it, because I've done, just sitting around with my guitar, I've played songs before, and it
Yeah.
was like 3 people who came through.
Yeah.
You can't control. And then as soon as I was done, 10 more people showed up, and then
Yeah.
I was like, where were you guys 5 minutes ago? So in order to be able to reach everyone, I'll just pre-record it.
I think that's the best way, anyways.
Yeah.
Pre-recorded is. A lot of people ask me all the time, "Are you ever going to do?" This kind of goes back with the Twitch thing. Are you ever going to go on Twitch and do these live? And I thought about it. I've seen podcasts do it. Sounds in Creation, they do a podcast, and it's all live on Twitch, and he does amazing at it. But I just think that the pre-recorded is, in my mind, better, because I've had many times, where we've had hiccups where Zoom crashes, and it's not the other person's fault, or it's not my fault, it's the program itself. And so that's why I believe that, pre-recorded is probably better. And plus, you can edit out all you could trim the fat, basically. You can trim. You could make it as good as you want it, or as raw as you want it. So pre-recorded is definitely good. You're by yourself with this project too. That's what's amazing. So that's why I asked, like, if you're ever gonna do live, because it's hard as a rapper. It's in my eyes, it's easier to just rap on a beat and do it live, because it's expected. As a hard rock metal group that is just a solo person, that's much harder, to fulfill and do these elaborate shows and stuff like that. So I think that would be perfect. I'm definitely down to watch that. That'd be good.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So right now, I've got a bit more time to do it because we're in lockdown.
Oh, you
Like,
guys are in lockdown again?
absolute complete lockdown.
Yeah.
So we're talking about, because it's a small country, there's an advantage to that, because now they can give you certain days that you can go shopping. If your
Mm-hmm.
name begins with S, you can go out and do your shopping and stuff on a Monday, say, for example. And so
Yeah.
it's very controlled. There's not too many people knocking around at a time. So I've got a lot more time at home that I literally can't go out.
Yeah.
And so I can just sit in this room and film stuff.
Well, good. I mean, and it's good that you have a better outlook on it. And people that are watching and listening, just think about that. Think of what you can do differently with your life, if you're that I don't know what's the word. Like if you're that impatient, you know, I understand being locked down for over a year is it's strenuous on your mind. It definitely is, but it gives you the opportunity to think. It gives you the opportunity to clear things up, and just be safe. You know, I mean, just think about your fellow people. That's all you got to do. Whether or not you believe in it or not, people are getting sick. Like it's simple as that. You know, I mean, we've done this before as human beings. We've gone through the plague. We've gone through so many different things that we can get through this. It just takes time, basically. And so what's the best way to fill your time? Listen to World Not Gray EP, dude. That's what you gotta
That's what I'm talking about. Shameless plug.
You gotta have that shameless plug in there. But hey man, I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming on here and talking with me. I mean, I could talk with you for hours. So this is amazing. And
we're gonna have to do a part 2.
Oh,
Thank
definitely. I'm down. I am definitely down. This is the time where I'm going to let you go ahead and do your own plug. Go let everybody know where to find you.
Okay, so hey, World's Not Grey, and you can find me on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, Facebook. I don't really use Facebook. Instagram, if you want to reach me directly, just slide in those DMs. World's Not Grey. Pretty easy to find me.
Perfect. And I'm going to keep you on here even after I press stop on the record. So, again,
yeah,
guys,
you got more questions or what? You know.
Oh, no, yeah. No, you're good.
I got a few more minutes. A few more minutes here.
Good. I wanted to talk with you a little after anyway. So, you guys, every Monday, every Friday, I drop a new podcast. I try to do it on time. I tried to have a time limit. I'm horrible with it. My fiance lets me know, you know, you need to be more punctual with your stuff. And it's like, yes, I do. But every Monday, every Friday, the podcast comes out. This podcast should be out this Friday coming up.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely this Friday. So I'm excited to drop this one. But yeah, anyways, guys, my name is Justin. I am your host of Next Album, Please. My guest, World's Not Grey. And yeah, just go check out his music. Make sure you listen to every track because I guarantee you will have a incredible time. He takes you on a journey like no other. So definitely take the time to take a listen. Until next episode, we'll see you guys. All right. I can't stay.